Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel, and a special welcome to any new subscribers that have joined me in the last couple of weeks. I've come back on today to talk to you about my, to do some work in my bird journal, and I'm going to be using some more of the Stamperia pad. But before I start, I just wanted to talk to you about something completely different, and it's just been a response to a question I had in the comments, and I thought it would probably be something I should talk to you at some point about. I was asked about my hands. As you can see, they're quite deformed, and this lady was very gently asked me about them and said she'd not seen me mention anything about them in my videos, and just wondered if, wondered what caused it. I suppose that's what she was really asking. So I don't talk about my hands really in my videos, because it's not something that I feel is something that I'm here to talk about my crafting, and I want to share my love of crafting with you, and just be part of this wonderful community. You ladies are all, so supportive and encouraging, and really I'm a crafter first and foremost, and that's what I do in my videos. That's why I make my videos, is because I love it so much. To me, talking about my disability or my condition, or however, whatever you want to call it, is not really something I particularly want to do, because I don't think that's relevant to my videos, especially. But I do understand that some people may be curious about what's caused my hands to be the way they are, and so I thought perhaps just on this one occasion I would explain what the condition to you. It's not an unusual condition. And then any future questions I can refer back to this video. And it's just, I've had rheumatoid arthritis since I was in my early teens, which is nearly 50 years now. So pretty much all my life I've had this condition, and I've had quite a few big flare-ups over the years, which every time they cause a certain amount of damage. The biggest flare-ups occurred when I had my children. It's just the way it goes. You go into remission during pregnancy, and then when that wears off, when you've had the baby, you get a flare-up. And so that's what happened, and that's why I've got the hands that I have. That's why they've become quite deformed. But I can work with them. They cause me very little pain as such. My hands themselves don't give me pain. I get more pain in my shoulders and my elbows, but not really in my hands. But they are, they're not very strong. They're not. I've lost a lot of dexterity, and I'm sure you've all witnessed this. I've struggled with certain things, tying bows and fiddly stuff, but I've found ways around things. I've found ways around most things in my life, and it hasn't stopped me living the life that I want to live, and it certainly is not going to stop me crafting whenever I can. It means I have to limit the amount of time I spend doing it, but I love it so much, so I'm always going to craft while I can. So that's pretty much it. There's not really a very interesting explanation, I'm afraid. It's just a long-term condition I've had pretty much all my life, and that's it. So I have looked into the possibility of surgery a couple of times, and that's not an option. Straightening them through surgery is not an option, so it's a case of just learning to live with them, which I have done, and I hope that that's covered any questions that you might have, and please feel free. I'm not at all embarrassed about it, or I'm not sensitive about them. I just don't think they're very interesting to talk about when I would much rather be doing the crafting. And I hope that, I'm quite happy to answer any further questions you may have. If you want to ask me anything in the comments, perfectly fine, don't mind at all. I could talk about it for a whole hour. It's very easy to sort of tell you about things that have happened over my life and how it's affected me and stuff, but I really don't think that'd be very interesting for me to talk about. So that's pretty much it. I hope that covers any questions you might have, and let's move on and do what we all love to do, which is making pretty things with paper. And I'm pretty much down to I've got literally these last two sheets of the Stamperia paper pad that I've been using, And this one is only, because it's the back page, I'm not sure quite how I'd use it, but I'm sure I can find something to do with it at some point. You can soon cover it, make things and cover it up. But I'm going to make today, or at least I'm going to start by making it something that's quite simple. It's just a little triple fold flip out thing that I made. I actually made one for my wedding journal. I spent quite a lot of time over the last week finishing the wedding journal. The videos are scheduled to come out over the next probably 3 weeks, but all of those videos have been done, and they're all out of the way and they're all scheduled. So, and it's actually should be arriving, it's been put in the post and it should be arriving today with my friend and her husband-to-be, so hopefully she likes it. But I made this little flip out triple thing right at the last minute, off camera, just because I thought it needed something extra to sort of a bit more interactive. So I thought, well, I might as well make another one for this journal so you can actually see how I did it. It's I'm sure it's the same thing that many people have made in whatever journals that they're doing. I'm sure Gail has made them and Tina's made them, and so it's nothing new, but it's quite a simple thing to do, and I thought I'd just make one now because it doesn't require too much thought. And I'm going to use this paper, and then because it's not particularly themed either, in any sort of botanical, I mean, it's beautiful paper, but I don't feel it's particularly botanical in theme. I'm going to use some of these sort of parts of the pad that you can just cut out, and I can use that to decorate the different the pages. So let's get started. Oh yeah, before I start, I did want to show you. I think if you remember, I made this this little booklet, this little matchbook last week, and I said I might use some more of the paper pad to make another one. Well, I did. So it was from the other side of the front page. So I made this one. I was pretty well straight away after I'd finished filming. I made this second one, which is very similar. So that I took the other half of the front cover and did the same thing, and used some more of these little strips that I used for the first one. I did pretty much the same thing, and except this one I did sew around it all the way round first of all, which I was really pleased about, and I wish I'd thought to do it before I sewed it across here. I would have liked to have sewn around here as well, and I didn't really think about doing that until afterwards, which I did with this one. I sewed around the whole thing before I folded it up, so I've actually got the it's sewn across here as well. It's just sewn around the whole piece. Then I folded it up and sewed across the bottom, and actually I think it looks a lot more finished like that. So that might even be the one I use in my journal, I'm not sure. But so I've got the two, and I will use one. Did I put a tab on this one? I didn't actually put a tab on this one as well, like I did with this one. I think I tapped it under a little bit more, and it didn't feel like it needed it. So, you learn every time you make these things. This is the first time I'd ever made one, so it's not perfect. It's probably I could have made it so it fitted a little bit better in here, and I could have sewn all around it. So I corrected all of that with this one. So I'm pleased with that. Anyway, so I just thought I'd show you those. Just get my trimmer out. And so I can cut this to roughly to the size that I need. So I don't have any. I can't remember how big I made the other one, but I want to make them big enough for this to fit. So if I just measure those, and I just make it a bit bigger than that. So these little oval things are 3.5. So I'll cut it at 4. And that, or cut it at, I suppose if I cut it at 8, then I'll have a piece that's 4. Would that make sense? Is this 12? 12, it is 12 inches. So I'll cut it at 8 inches. So I'll have a piece that's 4 inches that I can use. Okay. So I've got that piece. Oops. Right, and this is the inside. So I think that should be, I think that's going to be big enough. Yep, I think it will. And it's just something to put in the pocket. Does it matter which way up it goes? No, not really. So it's just a case of just folding it in approximately. I can't remember when I made the other one whether I actually scored it or not. I have a feeling I probably didn't. So if I do it about there, I'm not going to fold it completely until I've got it lined up. And then fold that one about there. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that'd be about right. So let's get the bone folder. So it's another case of just making it up, really. But I do know, having made it the once, even though you haven't seen it yet, I know it works. At least I hope it will work. Thing is, when you just do something on the fly and just make it up, you can't always guarantee you can do it again. I can't always remember what you did. I'm trying to remember what I did last time. I do know that I had it going the other way. I think the other one is going that way, but I want this one to go that way. It's a little bit out at the bottom for some reason. I've not folded it quite right. There we are. Yep, it just pokes down a little bit at the bottom, so I'm just going to trim it. Not quite sure why it's doing that. Perhaps I just didn't quite cut it straight when I used my trimmer. Sometimes it does slip a little bit. So it's not a big problem. It's only a tiniest sliver. And then I've got these to add. So I'll just quickly cut those out, I think. Luckily, none of these have got those nasty bugs on, have they? Quite a few of the journal cards and the tags have got quite big beetles and things like that on, so I'm going to have to find a way, if I'm going to use them, which I probably will in this little flip out, I'll have to find a way to cover those up. Because the backgrounds are really lovely, it's just I can't be doing with bugs. And I don't want to inflict them on my friends. I don't know whether she likes bugs or not, but I suspect not. So I think I'm going to have one there maybe. I might have to back it with something because it's blending in a little bit. I see which one looks best. This one might look better because it's green. It's got the green frame around it. Maybe that will look a little better. So that one looks quite nice on the front there. And so I just need one of these in here. I might use that as well as a backup somewhere. It's just to cut this one out, and then I've got it there ready if I can find a use for it. Right. Okay, that's quite nice as well. Yep. Right, so in here we need to do some pockets. Now, when I made with the wedding journal, I used lace to make the pockets, as you'd expect. But on this occasion, I may just use some more of this. Although I have got quite a few scraps here. Let's have a look, see what we've got in the way of scraps. I don't think any of them are quite the right thing. I mainly have scraps of bugs. So I don't want to use those. And I'm not overly keen on the back of them either. So I think I'll just use some more of this. So how big do I want my pockets to be? So I think what I want a side pocket these and at the sides, and a little central pocket there. So let's see. I think my side pocket can be, I'll do it about that wide. I'm not measuring. I don't think, I'm just going by the pattern really. Let's see how that works. I'll put that there. Oh gosh, can't see it now. It's disappeared. Right, let's see if I can mark it. And I'll just use my little guillotine for that. Yeah, where's it gone now? There it is. I can see it. Okay. Check that is about the right size. Yep, so I'll make another one the same size. I think I'm going to use the other end. I don't really want to use the matching pattern, at least not too much of it. So here's my pencil gone. There it is. All right. There it is. Alright, so that's the side pockets. And I've got this piece left. For the front pocket. I'm not overly keen on using a piece that's got the same pattern on it. That's because it sort of just disappears, so I may have to cut another piece. I just had another thought. I don't know. They look fine. I'm just thinking I've got amongst my scraps, of which I have a few left, not a huge amount, but I just remembered one of the pieces I've got is this. No, they're not really going to. I was wondering whether there were some longish pieces like this, but that would work just as complete contrast. But they're going to be too wide, I think, those pieces, and I'd have to cut too much off. So I'll have to try and find another use for this, because that's a really beautiful piece. I'll have to think of something else to use that for. So I'll stick with plan A. And that's this and this. And do a little bit more of it for my bottom pocket. So maybe I'll cut a piece across there. Let's have a look, see how that looks. That way, or that way. See where it's quite hard to see where the fold is, so I need to do it slightly within the fold. So I think I'll do that one. Should I do it that way? Quite like that pattern as well. Yeah, maybe I'll do it that side. So mark it about here. There, and then these either side. Right, so that one, no, I think I have it that way. Right, so that's my pocket. So I'm just going to do a little thumbnail in each one and do a bit of inking very quickly. Just using my little punch for this. I usually like the big punch because it just gives you a wider notch, but I think with these little tiny pockets, the little punch is better. So perhaps I should try and line that up and do it in the same position. Oop. Okay, and then this one, just doing it by eye. It's roughly in the middle. Hopefully it's close enough. That one. Right, I've got to just, before I stick them down, just ink the edges along it so that you can see the edge of the pocket, just to define it. That one. I should probably sew around this as well afterwards, I think, if it's possible to do it. I think I'll probably just sew around the whole thing if I can. I have got a mountain of things. I'm going to show you the stuff that's ready to sew. I have to assess how many things I've still got to make, because I may not need to make much more. I think I've got quite a lot ready to go because there was such a lot of stuff in the kits. Okay, so that's that. So I'll stick those in. So I'm nearly falling off my chair here, I'm not quite sure why. Ooh, let's just get back on properly. That's better. There we are. Right, that's on. And this one. And I've just got I've got some tags. It's also part of the paper pad that I think I'm going to use. I might have to see if the backs are very highly decorated. I might have to stick something on the back of them. Otherwise, they won't be much use to write on if they're all covered in a very busy pattern. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling they are. There we are. That one and this one. Let's just check I'm sort of central, which I'm not. That's a bit better. What I should have done, if I'd have inked these first, these folds, that would have been a bit clearer where I've got to position my pocket. So I'll just quickly do that now. It is a bit late if I haven't got them in. I haven't got it in the right place. It will show it up rather too much, but it's okay. It's about right. So in my pockets, I've got a whole bunch of. I've got a whole pile of stuff here. These are all the scraps I've got left, so I've actually done quite well. There's a tag. There's a tag. Some I've cut out, some I haven't. I don't want to go overboard on the roses, so I've got that one. Yeah, I think I may not use that one. So I don't think I need this one as well, because I've got a few here cut out that I can use. Let's have a look at the back. So you see that is really pretty, but not very practical for writing on. So I think the ones I'm going to pick, I'm going to have to back onto some, probably onto some coffee dyed paper or on some cream. I might get some cream paper. I'll see what I've got in my scraps. That's quite a good piece. So I could pick the ones I want. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him, but it's a pretty tag. I'm not going to be able to avoid the bugs completely, am I? But let's get back on the chair. Right, so I'm going to cut this one out because I like that one with the dragonfly. And then I shall see how many. I'm going to need at least 3, I think. Yes, I will need 3. May even need 4. I'll see what I do on the front. So I think I've got 4 here, so that's all right. Sorry about that, it's my phone sending me some sort of notification. Not very interesting. As I said, my camera was about to cut out, and it duly did. So we're back again, got another half an hour. So hopefully I should get this done and maybe do something else, who knows. Right, so that's that. I think, how many have I got here? Oh, I've got 5. I think I'll use these. So do the cricket or the green beetle. Choices. Yeah, I think I may ditch the green beetle, or I have to. Possibly I can use him if I can cover him up, but I don't want anything too bulky on the inside, otherwise the whole thing will be a bit too much, a bit too thick. So I'm going to back all of these. They should all fit on here. Glue. And glue book, or glue magazine I suppose you'd call it. So hopefully this won't take me too long. They're not very big, so it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, is that the right side? Which side do I prefer? Right. Let's check. Yeah, I think I'll stick it on this side and use the other side as the writing side. One. And while I'm doing this, I'll have to think about what I can use for toppers. So like I say, I don't want it to be too bulky, but I do want some little topper. When they're going in sideways, I'll have to think about that. Maybe they won't need a topper on the sideways one. Perhaps I'll only need a topper for the one that's going in the middle pocket. Little Mr. Cricket. Or grasshopper, not sure which. Yep, I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut these out now. So it's a little bit tedious. I think in the interest of getting some things actually done in this video, I'm going to turn the camera off now and cut these out and then turn it back on again, just to save a bit of time so that we actually achieve something in this video. Okay, I'm back and I've got all the tags backed and cut out now and inked. I've inked around everything else as far as I could. And I've also gone diving in my stash for a few things to use to decorate. One thing I have decided to do is some of these tags and things that I didn't like with the bugs on, I've just made them into whale tails instead. So I thought that would be a better use. And this is the one that had the spider on. Didn't fancy using that, so I've just got this one to finish off. So I thought I'd just briefly do that on camera, just in case anybody hasn't seen these being made. For anybody, you know, if you want to make a whale tail and haven't got the punch, all you need is a good sized circle punch, which I think is probably 2 inches. I did have a go at making a tiny one because I only had a small square of paper. I made this one, which I used this punch for, which is probably a 1 inch, but it's a bit fiddly, it's a bit tricky to make, so I wouldn't necessarily make too many of those, but because of this is quite a small thing, I thought these ones, the normal ones, might be a bit big, so I will use that. So I'll just finish this one off. So you need a big circle, but 2 inch circle punch, and I think this would be a 1/2 inch circle punch. and it's really simple. Fold it in half. I mean, many of you probably, or some of you have probably seen me do this before, so I apologise for doing it over and over, but it might be of interest to anybody who's new. So just poke it in halfway. I'll do it, and then, sorry, it's got a bit. So you're just taking out a little divot so that you put that point. There's a nail in the middle, and if you take the point in as far as that, so it's straight in, so it's about as far as the little mark in the middle, the little nail that's in the middle, so you've got that kind of like a little quadrant, and punch that out. You end up with that, and then just to finish it off, and this was something I saw Rachel from Rockagations do a while ago, just round that little corner there and clip off that little pointy bit, turn it over, round that one off and clip that, and then you have what's as good as any little sort of whale tail punch, really, or tab. I've made loads of these, and they're quite handy just to pop on the top of a tag or a journal card. So there we are. I've made a few of those. Used up some of the bits of cardstock that I didn't like the other sides of, but they're really pretty on the back, so why not use that? Right, so I've got my little booklet, and I just got to choose my tags. So I actually backed five tags, including this one, which I was thinking I might not use, but I have found a way I can disguise the beetle, which I'm not overly keen on, because I like the rest of it. And what I will use, or I'll probably use, I think. Ooh, let me just quickly grab. I just wanted to show you this little set that I bought a while ago from Amazon. A little set of punches. Stamps. They are stamps, not punches. There are 15. I can only get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in the box. So I have another one that's just sitting somewhere nearby. Is this like, I think he's like a little, not sure what he is, a little bear cub or something. He wouldn't quite fit. And the 15th one was a duplication, unfortunately, but then I suppose when you buy a big pack, and they weren't hugely expensive at all, a duplication is not a surprise, really. So so I've got these. I haven't really used them very much, but I think they're really pretty, and they're ideal for this journal. So what I did spend a little bit of time doing a week ago or so, or I don't know when it was just punching them out onto some scraps of coffee dyed paper, and then tearing them out. So I've got a whole bunch of these to use when I feel so inclined, or when I need something, and when I need to cover up a bug. You saw where that was going, didn't you? And it's just, look at that, perfect. And also the flower is quite similar, that one, to the one that's on the tag. So I thought I might use that on there. I might even put a little bit of cheesecloth behind it just to make it a little bit more decorative. And then that makes it a more usable tag in my mind. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit of the cheesecloth. And then that's a tag ready to go. Just trim it up a bit. It's not very well cut out. Whoops. I can pop that behind there. It's not big enough now, is it? Ha ha ha. So I don't need to put it, maybe I just put it at the side. Maybe just like that. A little bit sticking out at the side, a little bit sticking out at the top, and that will probably be enough. So I might just put it on here. Just going to finish that off. Slight detour from what I was doing, but I thought that at least if I don't use that tag in this booklet, it'll be ready to go on another one. So I'm going to just pick that up there like that. Pop it down there like that. Hopefully it'll stick. I might just need to put a little bit of extra glue under that corner where the cheesecloth is, I think. Well, okay, so that's that. Pin in? Nope, pin's not in. Just picked up some extra glue, which is now attached to the pin. There. Right. So that's a little tag with a hidden beetle. Okay, so really all I need to do is think about some toppers for some of these. So I think they'll just pop in quite nicely, just like that. Put one in there, put one in here. I may even have to do something about the grasshopper as well. And I might put this one in here. And I've got my little whale tails, this one, so I might put that on there. And what do you reckon? Label might do it, mightn't it? Have I got my? Oh yeah, I've got my box of labels here. These are the Field Nodes labels by Tracy Fox, and that's quite a good colour. It's green, and and look, it does it. It covers up the grasshopper. I know. I'm I know I shouldn't be so sensitive, but they just don't do it for me. So I might. I'll put a little bit of cheesecloth under there too, maybe. Just looks a bit plonked in the middle there. That's why I thought I might just try and soften it a little. Let's see. Bit of that. I think I've actually got two pieces here. Yep, doubled over. One might be enough. Yep. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just put that little bit of cheesecloth on. And then it doesn't look quite so plonked in the middle, really. I think it just softens the outline a bit. I'm just going to use, I think, a bit of this because it's so thin, this cheesecloth. I got some closer weave one as well, but I don't need it to be too dominant. Just to soften the edges around the label. And this, I think this is backed. This is I think this is on, what's it? Labels, yeah, sticky label. Yep, printed it on a sticky label, but I think I'm still going to add a little extra glue anyway, especially as it's going onto the back of going onto the cheesecloth. Right. Okay, and then I'm going to put the my little whale tail on there. Now I see if I've got anything else I can just pop into that pocket to make it a bit more interesting. I've got a few birds there that I've already fussy cut. I think they're mostly birds by Tailor-Made Journals. So I might just see if one of those can go on as well. Yeah, it's a funny little tab, but I think it works reasonably okay. Let's see if some of these will possibly go on here. I've got him. Oh, what about him? He goes on quite nicely. I think I might put him on there. Don't think there's any other obvious candidates. What about this one? I quite like that one, but let's just try one more. No, I think I like the other one. Not sure what he is, but I think he goes quite nicely on here. And that just bring in a few birds. As this is a sort of bird stroke nature journal, I want a few birds to appear in the ephemera. And if I just overlap him with the label, it just pulls it all together, I think. There. Okay, so that can go in that pocket there, like that. And then I've got these two tags which need a topper. So I did come across these little scraps of, not sure what it is, little cottony fabric that I've been using. Used it on the cover. I like this, so I thought that would be quite nice, just as a little topper. So I'm going to put that on. Put one on each one. And there. And pop that there. So that's that. Pops in there. And do the same on this one, I think. Don't think either of these need anything particularly extra on them. May consider a label. There's a piece here that's a bit long. I'd have to cut that down a little bit. Put that on there. I love how this frays, it's just all really pretty. That little frayed edge. Frays nice and evenly. I quite like that. Okay, and pop that on, stick that there. There we are. And put that one in there. I think that will be, let's make sure it's at the right sort of angle. Right, let's see how it looks closed up. I close that, that's okay. I think I do want to round the corners, thinking about it. I might just do that. Just take these out for a moment. Give them a chance to dry. Round my corners. Where's my corner rounder? There it is. It's a bit more effort needed because we've got the double thickness there from the pockets. Oh, that didn't go right. That's better. Okay. A little job done. Just re-ink. Right, so what I want to do now is put my little decorative elements on. So it's that one. I think I want this one for the front. It's a case of this one or this one. I quite like that because it's got the darker bit around here and then it echoes the background down the bottom. So I think that's quite nice. But it needs a little something here. And I think I'm not sure. Does it need a bird? Another bird? Shall we have a look? See if a bird works on there. Got the little butterfly at the top. It's definitely, no, it's too orange. Definitely calling out for something there. What about this one? I think the bird would be alright on there. Maybe with a little bit of something behind him. Have I got any more cheesecloth? Got a little bit more. I want to keep use this because it's very thin, and obviously I don't want this thing to get too bulky when it's folded up. So I'm just going to put a little bit of, I do like the bit of cheesecloth, just as a little backing. See if that's probably a bit too much. Again, I've got the 2 layers here, so I can possibly remove one and reuse the other one for something else. And I think I might just cut it down a little. And at the side as well. And that will do nicely. So again, I'm going to use this to glue it to the card. That should do it. and then I will use the art glitter glue for the bird. So I thought I won't add, loads of birds, but I thought it'd be quite good to have a few birds in here. So we've got butterflies, we've got flowers. Sort of completes the set to have the odd bird in as well. I just should have done this before I stuck him down. I've just realised there's quite a lot of white spots. So I'm just going to do a little bit of touching up. And also it kind of touches up the background a little bit. Get a little bit of a distress, more of a distressed look. Okay, let's stick him on. I'm not going to get anything else done, unfortunately, today, because I think my hour's nearly up. I might just go over the hour a little bit on this one. Otherwise, I do want to get this finished today, so it's taken perhaps a little longer than I thought it would. Right, that's down there. And then on the front, I'm going to use this one, but I thought I might use this one as a bit of a pocket and just glue it down halfway, or a tuck, and so I can tuck one or two little things in. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've just got to think about how I'm going to decorate the front of this, and I think I'm just going to put a little label on. See what we've got. It's too big. Far too big. Also, I've got the some of the things from the Nature's Remedies kit. There's a few bits and pieces in here as well that I might be able to use. I'm not sure. I've got journal. Don't know if that would work in here. So I think this has got a few labels in it as well. Not sure where they all are, whether they're things I can use. Let's have a look. What's that? There's a little stamp. Another butterfly. I don't need another butterfly. Fennel. A few more stamps and little bits and pieces. Like that. That's pretty. Might be too big. Calamint, whatever that is. Nope, I think that's as many as I'm going to find amongst this lot. See if I can use any of these. Okay, let's have a look, see if any of these work on here. Take away the booklet for the moment. See what I can do with these. Wondering about that. Is that too big? Possibly. Got that. That might look okay. It's only a little decoration just to fill the space really. It's a bit blank there. So I think I'll just do that. I don't think this is on the... because it's part of the Herbal Remedies kit rather than the field notes, it's not on sticker paper, this one. Okay. And this little one. Whoops! Whoa! Oh, that was close. That nearly went on the floor. Okay, so that's just on there. And then I think I'll just... So I thought if I could just glue it at the side, and then I might be able to tuck one or two little things in here. I don't know whether that would work in there. This might be a bit too much. Or what else have I got? There's a few little tickets. Little tickets might be better. So I'm just going to do that. Just going to glue it halfway round. Pop it there. And then find a couple of little bits to pop in. The other thing I had, what have I done with them? Yeah, they're here as well. And a whole collection of bits and pieces in here. So I've got my little stamped images. Oh, that's a nice ticket, I like that one. Another one here. It's just another image. Oh, it's amazing the things that are in this box. And I also picked out, I had some of these, I think they're like vintage cigarette cards that were birds. I bought these from Pam at the Paper Outpost. So I did wonder if any of these might go in there. Let's have a look. See if any of them work. Obviously I don't want to overload it. I just thought a couple of little bits and then I might put something else inside. Right, so what we've got that. What was that other ticket I liked? Got this ticket. Just some little things to pop in. So I could pop that in there. Would that go in as well? Or where's the other one gone? Ooh, just looked up. It's chucking it down with rain outside. I think this is definitely the best place to be. Although it's getting a bit dark in here. It's the middle of the day. And I'm already thinking about putting my light on. Because it suddenly got a little bit grim outside. Okay, so maybe those couple of little tickets would go in there. And inside, let's have a look. Let's put... Oh, I haven't put a topper on there, have I? I have to use the ones that I've toppered. So that one can go in there. This one in the middle, and I wondered about maybe one of these cigarette cards. I've got one that goes vertically, probably not, I don't know. Not that it matters, I just thought I'd see if any of the birds went like that one. It's a wood warbler, apparently, that's what it says. So I hope it hasn't gotten too dark. How about little, there we are, put that in there. There. Oh, last one. That can go in there. Closes that way. And that closes that way. I probably will find something to tie it up with. I'm not sure what I'm going to use. Maybe some baker's twine or something, but I won't do that right now. It's only going to be a case of tying it around, sticking something on the back of it, probably, to keep it in place. But so there we are. There's my little triple flip out booklet, I think we're going to call that. Using some more of my lovely Stamperia paper pad. There we are. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to my little chat at the beginning, and please do join me again soon. Bye for now.